so the asterisks that they made a big deal out of, and everyone was like, "What's the asterisk for?" Was a placeholder. They are actually the new Avengers.
Oh, got it.
And so they become the new Avengers. The after credit scene, they briefly, which I think they said it was a year and a half later. So they've been now
14,
the Avengers.
14 months.
Yeah. So they've been now together as the Avengers, working together, doing missions for over a year.
Mm-hmm.
And they mention that Sam Wilson is now putting
the most important. That scene is mundane. We're talking about the Wheaties box.
Yeah,
that is the most. That is way
the
more.
Wheaties box.
That is way more important than whatever you were spieling or whatever.
Yeah, no, the Wheaties box was pretty funny.
Well, no, it's more important, but anyway.
No, but yeah, so they're putting together. Sam Wilson's putting together a team. What I want to discuss with you, because we, as of right now, we know there's going to be 4 teams meeting up in Avengers 5. You have the X-Men from one universe, which I'm assuming Monica Rambeau is going to help them get to this universe due to the Marvel's after credit scene. You have the Fantastic Four, which I'm assuming Galactus destroys their Earth and they get away and come to our universe. And then now you have 2 Avenger groups. One which is more of the government assigned Valentina, Avengers with a Z. And then you have the proper Avengers, which is ran by Sam Wilson.
Right.
I'm wondering what you think the Avengers team, and then you're also going to have a couple characters that probably become Avengers in the movie.
Yeah.
What do you think the Avengers Sam Wilson's creating is going to be?
Like, who's going to be on it?
Mm-hmm.
We haven't seen Hulk in a long time, so I'm assuming Hulk will get brought back.
Okay.
Maybe old timer Harrison Ford, Red Hulk.
You think Red Hulk will be? Come on, 70-year-old Red Hulk. You're gonna be in a dozen more movies.
I think obviously Doctor Strange. I think it's gonna be the original team. I think it's gonna be like Doctor Strange, Spider-Man, Hulk.
Well, if you don't remember, Doctor Strange, I don't think is going to be in it because the after credit scene of Doctor Strange 2, he leaves with somebody.
Oh yeah, I don't remember.
So,
but okay.
So I forgot her name, but she's so I think the Avengers that Sam Wilson puts together is going to be more of the ground level superheroes, kind of like we saw in Civil War.
Is this going to be built up to Civil War 2? Is this what really
it's
building up
to? No, I don't think so. I think it's just 4 different groups that all meet up.
But Sam Wilson doesn't like what they're doing with
no. You might get some conflict. Yeah, you might get some conflict. But no, I think the team he's going to put together, it's going to be obviously him. He did mention to the new Falcon, which is
the Hispanic guy,
Joaquin
Gonzalez or something.
Yeah. Joaquin.
I don't know.
Taurus. The new Falcon, so it'll be the new Captain America, the new Falcon. I think that they made a huge deal out of making Shang-Chi the new Avenger, all the marketing. They talked about it. I think he will be part of the Avengers. I think
the OG, like the OG, like the Sam Wilson.
Yeah, so you have Sam Wilson.
Yeah.
You have the new Falcon. You have Shang-Chi.
Yep.
And then I think due to the after credit scene of Captain Marvel 2, or the Marvels, I think you're going to have Miss Marvel and Kate Bishop / Hawkeye, the new Hawkeye. And then I think you're going to see probably either War Machine or they're just going to kind of retire War Machine in a sense and put in Ironheart. If the show, I think it depends on how they feel about the show. The show's coming out this year, so I think it just depends on. Right now they're probably in production or they're filming it, and they're probably thinking to themselves, if we like what we have and we think she's going to be popular, we'll throw her in there. If we don't, then we're going to act like this freaking thing never happened. We're going to maybe have her show up in Black Panther 3 for a minute or something, and we're going to throw War Machine in there. I think it might depend on that.
And Thor's just sitting at the beach with his daughter drinking.
Well, yeah, Thor's out. I mean, the easy thing to say with Thor is he's out. Maybe he comes during the event, like during the events, he pops up. But much like how, at the beginning of for instance, at the beginning of Civil War, Iron Man wasn't part of the Avengers. The Avengers were off doing their thing. Remember, he retired and he kind of came back, and he was probably associated with them. So I think it's going to be kind of like that. I think Shang-Chi.
Do you think Pepper comes back as some?
No, I don't think Pepper. I think this is a good way they retired that character. I think what they do is I think Shang-Chi. I think the Hulk probably isn't going to be fighting, but he's going to be associated with it because he's like handicapped and he got the arm going on. But maybe he's associated with them, but he tied them to Shang-Chi, and that's how Shang-Chi knows them because of the after.
What about She-Hulk?
Died in a fire. Yeah. So, but I was going to say this before. I think that because you have so many characters and you have to show whoever the bad guy is to be kind of a badass, I think they're going to kill off a couple characters at the beginning. And I think Ghost, that's why they didn't do too much stuff with her, because I think Ghost is going to bite it. And I think Red Guardian's going to bite it. Because of the Yelena connection. They really want to build Yelena up even more and more and more. So how do you do that? You kill off her father. So you do that. You bite off Ghost. Maybe you kill off. Maybe She-Hulk is part of the Avengers, and then they kill her off. It's kind of a good way to say, Kevin Feige to say, okay, who are some characters that they don't really like? Let me start cutting some throats here, and I'll throw in one or two that they do like, but especially, characters like Red Guardian, who not only do they like, but is a huge essential part of what Yelena is. We could build up that character even more. I think that could be something they do, but we'll see, man. We'll see.
I mean, we can just talk about it a little bit here, I guess. But what's your thoughts on Fantastic Four? Because I will be honest, just in general, before you give your opinion, I'm not enthused.
Well, I think. Sorry, I'm looking something up.
Yeah.
I think that I'm more excited about the movie after the after credit scene. I am.
Maybe for the future projects. I'm just talking about the movie alone.
Yeah. It's definitely on a different dimension. It's in a different dimension than it's in a different world. It's not in the MCU. It's in a different. And it ends them coming to us. So I'm interested because it's going to be a clean slate. It's as if this is a completely different universe, completely different world. So I'm okay. I'm kind of okay with that. That's Galactus blowing up the planet. So I'm okay with that, but I'm kind of on the same boat as you. I mean, my thing is this: it all depends. I don't know the timeline of when, because what it seems like the timeline of the MCU is not the actual MCU, but the production side of the MCU is Endgame happened right before COVID, right as Phase 3 ended. It was Bob Iger retired from Disney as the CEO and chairman, stepped aside. Bob Chapek became the new CEO. They call him Bob Paycheck for a reason, because he's all about marketing, all about expanding. He says, hey, we're doing 2 movies and no shows, and everything's going fine. Nope, we have Disney Plus. We're going to do 3 shows and 5 movies a year. Because money.
Right.
And by the way, they all have to be new characters because we need to introduce as many new characters as possible because we want to sell new toys.
Right.
And that's exactly what happened. And it failed miserably. And it failed so bad. Not only did he do it with Marvel, but he did it with Pixar. He did it with proper Disney. He did it with live action Disney. He did it with Star Wars. He did it with everything. So it kind of just ruined the Disney brand for 5-6 years. And he was fired, moved aside. And now the new CEO, who is the old CEO, Bob Iger, is back.
Right.
And one big thing he did was actually, I wouldn't say fire, but, pushed aside Kathleen Kennedy and and promoted our boy from Avatar: Last Airbender. What's his name?
Aaron E. has Michael DiMartino.
Nope.
Brian Konietzko. I don't know.
Nope. Creator of Clone Wars. Sorry, I forgot your name. Dave Filoni. Who is a writer of Avatar: The Last Airbender, who also created Clone Wars.
Okay.
Is now the kind of the big guy over at Star Wars. Also, what he did was say, hey, Kevin Feige, let's sit down. We're not doing this bullshit. We're going to keep doing shows. We're not doing this bullshit 4 or 5 shows. We're going back to the basics. 1, 2 shows a year. We're not going to make people have to watch the shows. We're not going to do things like turn Wanda evil or bring Loki back or introduce really important characters like Miss Marvel and John Walker. We're going to do side fun things that you don't need to watch. And we're going to have about 2 movies a year. And that's why last year they had no shows and they had just Deadpool because they reorganized. So going back to what I was going to say is it depends on when this movie was produced and created. Was this movie produced and created during that, after that, or before that? If it was before, the movie's going to be trash. If it was during, it might be kind of a mess, but it might be fun and good. If it was after, it's probably going to be more like the Thunderbolts. So I don't know the timeline. I really don't, because they push things around, they move things around. There was the writer strikes, so I don't even know if this thing was done. I don't know when this movie was even made, compared to Thunderbolts. So, you know, because the last 3 movies were all affected by the strike, by this timeline I just said, plus the writer strikes, and you could tell in Captain America 4, and we've talked about this. Check out the review. It's messy. You can tell there's people standing in hallways, which looks like it's green screen. There's characters that you feel like shouldn't even be in the movie. You know, it was a mess. And that's why. So is it going to be more like that, or is it going to be more like this? We'll see.
Right.
That's my long-winded answer. So, yeah. But overall, I mean, I guess if you want to give it a grade, maybe we can just do it at 5.
Nope, do it out of 10. Nope.
Do it out of 10. Go ahead. Do it out of 10. Give it to me, baby.
I would have to do the categories, right? But I like off the cuff, like 7.75.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I would give this movie probably close to it, probably 8.5. Probably at 8.5. I mean, if I'm comparing it to an MCU movie.
Sure.
If I'm comparing it to an MCU movie, I would say a tad better than Guardians 2, kind of because of what I was saying earlier. Some of that goofy comedy wasn't there as much.
Sure.
So a tad better than Guardians 2, but the vibe of Winter Soldier, Civil War, which I really like, the grittier vibes. So, yeah, I would put it right around there. I mean, in my opinion, definitely a top 10 MCU movie, probably closer to 10 than like 5. It's probably like 8 or 9. We do a little ranking one day, but
yeah, no, I mean, it definitely beats out a lot of them. Yeah, I don't know if it makes top 10 for me. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe probably top 15 for me at least. It just depends on where it falls.
I was watching someone and they said, they made a pretty good point. You know, they're like, as much crap as we give the MCU lately, you know, if you really look, you can kind of take away the shows, because the shows are 90% of them are atrocious. Like I can't help out with the shows. I don't know what to tell you about the shows. But if we do phases 4 and 5, here, I'm just gonna do all. I can't really find those 2. All MCU movies. List the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So phase 4, we can kind of break down each one of them and why they kind of weren't great. And I must make excuses. I hate to make excuses for them, but kind of make excuses for them. And then be like, you know, it's not as bad as we really thought. Right. Again, shows atrocious. There was like 3 good. I think Loki was solid. I think Hawkeye had its fun moments. I think
I thought Hawkeye was great.
Yeah, I think Hawkeye overall was pretty solid. Falcon Winter Soldier I liked. WandaVision I liked. Since then, garbage. Now I have not seen Daredevil. I heard that was very good. But you look at phase 4 and 5. Okay, so Black Widow.
I thought it was fine.
I thought it was fine. I thought the ending was a little too
100%.
mustache twirling villain from James Bondish.
Yep.
But I think one of the reasons why people didn't think it was great, it was almost a mental thing of she's dead. I want to watch a show about. I want to watch a character that I just watched die. I know she ain't gonna keep going.
Well, maybe, but I think it's more of like, how can you follow Endgame?
That's true. Yeah, I mean, if that movie came out right before Infinity War, I think they're going to be probably a little bit different of a reaction with that movie.
A slight uptick. I don't know if it's about. I don't think it's drastic, but maybe like a slight.
Yeah, no, 100%. Shang-Chi again. I think Shang-Chi was good.
It was fine. That one was fine. I didn't like the beginning 30 minutes.
I'm the opposite. I'm the exact opposite.
Because I did not like the fight scene on the bus. I thought that was the cheesiest shit I've ever seen.
So I didn't mind that. I really liked the skyscraper, the fight scene on the construction on the skyscraper.
Yeah.
I thought that was awesome.
Sure.
The bus thing, I agree with. It was cheesy. It was fun. It was fine. Did not like the end. I thought that's something that should have happened in the third movie. You don't go from Street Fighter to climbing on dragons in 20 minutes. But I love the character stuff. I love everything with the father relationship. Right. I love everything with the movie was solid. Eternals. I think if that movie came out and they didn't say it was part of the MCU and it was just a random movie, it would have been fine. It would have been like, okay, this is a good movie.
No.
I mean, don't get me wrong. It's nothing special, but I think a lot of the hate is that fact that it's part of the MCU. That's all.
I think there's just terrible acting, I mean, it's just a hot pile of garbage.
It's definitely a mess.
It's not. No, that's being modest. It is a hot pile of garbage.
Fair enough. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't think the movie's good. I didn't say it was good. I think the movie's fine.
I don't want you to try saving it though. That's the thing. You're giving it excuses, which this
is the whole thing.
I know. You're trying to make excuses. No.
Okay. No. Spider-Man was great. Spider-Man was great. I thought Doctor Strange was really good. I understand why some people didn't like Doctor Strange in certain ways. I thought overall I had a fun time with it.
It was it was subpar. Great aspects, but it didn't land for me.
Yeah, I get it. I just overall, I thought it was a solid movie. Again, a solid movie. Nothing special, but solid. Thor: Love and Thunder was probably the thing that I'm going to probably think about when I die, actually. If you ask me, like, have one bad moment in my life, it might be Thor: Love and Thunder. I think it was the worst.
Christian Bale was the star.
Oddly, it was Christian Bale, and it was oddly Jane and Thor's relationship. I thought it was the best it's ever been. But when you're telling me the worst relationship in the MCU is the best thing about a movie, that means the movie's probably pretty fucking bad.
Yeah.
And then Black Panther, again, the movie's not great, but the saving grace is...
It was fine.
It was fine, but the saving grace for that movie is Chadwick Boseman passed away. They had to completely... They should have recasted it, but they had to just make a movie around the fact that the character's name is Black Panther and Black Panther is dead.
Angela Bassett got nominated for Best Supporting Actress for it. So she saved it a little bit. And but I still think it's like when you get rid of a character like that, it's hard to follow.
They should have completely kept with the original story and recasted. They should have just pushed it back. Ant-Man Quantumanium, pretty fucking bad. I think there were some funny moments, and it was overall like okay.
I think I was fine with that one. Like it wasn't great, but but I thought it was fine.
I think people shit on it a little bit too much.
That's
it still wasn't that great. Guardians 3,
great,
pretty good. Yeah, pretty good to great. The Marvels, Thor, Love and Thunder, I had the biggest expectations to the lowest of what I thought about the movie. The Marvels were the opposite. I didn't like the Marvels, but I walked in that saying, cannot wait to watch the worst MCU movie ever. And I walked out of it being like, I had a fun time. I was like, Miss Marvel was fun and the action was pretty cool. It's like I didn't hate it as much as I thought it was good.
I haven't seen that one yet.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, look, the thing that saved it was the movie was like an hour 40 minutes long. It was super quick. It was in and out. Good action. Story was mid. It was nothing crazy. It was like a very basic story.
Right.
But it was like, hey, look, good semi-good dialogue. They actually made Captain Marvel kind of likable. Miss Marvel, the girl that plays Miss Marvel, can't think of her name, Kamala Khan, I think her name is. Yeah. I mean, charisma off the charts. Like, she was great in the movie. Great after credit scene. So again, nothing amazing, but when you're expecting it to be a 2 and you walk out and you're like, it's a 6, oh my fucking god. You're pretty happy, Deadpool and Wolverine was good. Was great. Yeah. Captain America, we've already talked about. Kind of a mess of a movie. And then Thunderbolts. So it's like, as much as we crap on the MCU, it's like there's a lot of decent to good in there with a couple of really, really bads. I think overall, it's just these movies have been fine. Even the good ones have been like, okay, that's good, but they haven't felt like the MCU. It hasn't felt like what the magic was back in phase 2 and 3. And that's why I love the Thunderbolts, because it does feel like that magic again. You're excited 100%. To see the next movie. You want to see these characters again. You want to see these relationships grow. I never walked out of, and maybe that's why I didn't get the feeling for Guardians, because I knew it was the last one, but I didn't walk out of Black Panther 2. I walked out of Black Panther 2 being like, it was fine. Oh, can you not wait until you see the next one? I'm like, I give 0 fucks. Like, I can't, it's like, I don't care. I can never see the new Black Panther again. I wouldn't care. Right. I have not really been dying for a new Shang-Chi movie. All these movies I walked out of being like, it was good, it was okay. I don't really, we'll see. Right. This movie, I'm like, cannot wait to see these characters again. Cannot wait them interact again. Cannot wait to see where we go with this mini universe we've created with these characters, Yeah. Overall, guys, we appreciate you listening to this very long Thunderbolts review. But definitely comment below. Comment below some of your favorite parts of this movie, or some of your least favorite parts. Were you not as enthusiastic as we were? But if so, put some of your favorite parts and why you like this movie so much. We will see you guys next time. Watch all of our reviews. We're going to be actually doing some reviews for let's start doing all the reviews for MCU movies. Let's do it. John has not seen them all. I can just tell by his fucking face.
The only ones I haven't seen is the Marvels.
Not missing much.
So definitely a lot of the shows, honestly. But
no, I haven't seen a lot of shows.
I've seen WandaVision, Falcon and Winter. So I've seen like
the important ones.
Kind of.
All right. Well, we appreciate you guys checking in. We'll see you next time.
Yep. See you.